Hi, Taurus. This is a general reading for the sign of Taurus. If you have Taurus anywhere in your birth chart, this is your message. This is your reading. It is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Always practice good discernment. You know what is for you and what is not for you. Thank you, Spirit. Messages for the sign of Taurus. Thank you, Spirit. There's a lot of interesting cards here popping up for you, Taurus. Thank you, Spirit. Taurus, we also did want to talk about that last quarter moon. That last quarter moon is going to move through the constellation of Cancer. As that moon moves through Cancer, it will shine light on feelings and things that have to do with around the home. Don't be surprised if you find yourself wanting to maybe spruce things up around the house or get things ready for fall, or maybe even have a little family dinner, a little family get-together, maybe a little barbecue. And wouldn't a little family dinner, a little family get-together be a wonderful opportunity for you to have that little releasing ceremony that we talked about in your last reading? We talked about setting your intentions for releasing that into the universe, and then having a little ceremony. That little ceremony could be a family dinner, a family get together, or even just friends. Just a nice little celebrating fall, celebrating the harvest, celebrating the abundance that you received throughout the year. And don't be surprised if during that time you experience a little bit of melancholy. And we can all expect to experience a little bit of melancholy, especially as the days get shorter and the weather starts to cool and we find ourselves withdrawing into the home a little bit more. That will be bringing on feelings of melancholy. And what that is, if we really listen, if we really pay attention, that is Spirit guiding us towards letting go of things that is no longer serving us. And when we let go of things that are no longer serving us, that does open us up to gaining a real sense of belonging, a real sense of purpose. And all of those things come from within. And here we have the Knight of Swords for the foundation, the basis of your reading. And when we think of the Knight of Swords, we think of somebody that really just wants to rush in. A lot of action, a lot of wanting to get things done, a lot of motivation, a lot of movement. And I do see a lot of motivation and a lot of movement, especially in your career life, your professional life, your public life. But there's movement, action, and let's see how that works into the rest of your reading here. You really do have a lot of extremes here in your reading this week, Taurus. Let's just make sure all your cards are focused in and showing correctly on the camera. One moment, please. You can see all of those cards, and we can start with the Empress card here. The Empress card, the 3 the World card, the Empress card is appreciating. If we look at that Empress card, we can see that she is in the garden, and she is appreciating and accessing and making use of everything that the universe has brought into her. And why I say that, if we look closer here, we see the stars, we see the universe as her crown, and she's mastered that. And if we look closer at her clothing, we see the roses, which symbolizes that she has clothed herself in love and clothed herself in love, appreciation, and kindness. And here we see in the background, we see the river of life, the flowing river of life, which is the spirituality, the tangible. But we see that she has clothed herself in that and is sitting in appreciation of her place. And then we show her as the dancer, doing the dance of life and appreciating the dance of life. But here we also see that she's protected. So I see you being divinely protected at this time. And why I say divinely protected at this time is someone is experiencing a tower moment, but I don't think that this tower moment is yours. Although you may feel the effects of it and maybe some of the ramifications of this, I do not see that this is your tower moment. And I think it's this other person's, or this tower moment that is not yours, that is directly affecting you. I think perhaps you're thinking that things are not moving as fast, or things are not moving in the direction that you would like them to be, that things are harder than they should be, or they're harder than you thought that they should be. And maybe thoughts and feelings that you can't achieve this, or you shouldn't achieve this. Just thoughts and feelings of doubts are creeping into your thoughts, creeping into your mind. But Taurus, that is normal. We all experience those thoughts and those feelings from time to time. It's what we do with those thoughts and feelings that really determines our outcome, really determines, or really sets the pace. And again, we can again think about last week's reading, where we talked about setting intentions, and how since the fall equinox And from the fall equinox moving into the full moon, and the full moon is on the 29th, but how on the day, or how on the evening of the full moon, we were planning on having a little release it into this universe, release it back into the universe, and really set our intentions free with good positive energies so that they can come back to us. And just taking that action. And so I do invite you to revisit last week's reading and maybe start that if you have not already. But the feeling like this is harder than it should is natural, is normal. We all experience that. And by reaffirming and resetting our intentions and focusing on the positive aspects, focusing on the positive outcome, we won't get, many times we don't get instantaneous results. We can't just think that and then magically it happens. It does require some kind of action on our part. And the action varies according to what it is that we're wanting to manifest, but it is requiring action. And we're not going to get a quick response. And here I see that you're wanting a quick response. And Taurus, you are notorious for being action, for wanting to take action, for really being motivated, really wanting to move, and really wanting to see results. And in part of your life's purpose, part of your soul's mission is to learn and practice patience. And I think that that is what is being asked of you at this time. That is kind of where you're at with the finding patience and not letting other people's tower moments affect you in a negative way. And that is how we achieve the 10 of Cups. In your home life, in your personal life, we have the Page of Wands looking towards the future. You are I usually say looking towards the future, but if we look closer here, we see that Page of Wands, and that Page of Wands is gazing right towards the Tower. So whatever that Tower moment is, it is affecting your business life, but it's also affecting your home life. And it's causing you sleepless nights. And it's causing you stress. And it's causing you turmoil. There seems to be, let's do it just like that. There seems to be a void in your home life. There's something missing. There's something, I want to say that it's missing, but I don't think it was ever there. I think it was there in your mind, it was there in your thought, it was there in your imagination. That was something that you wanted to happen, something that you wanted to make happen. And maybe even something that you pretended was always there, but you're coming to find now that it was never there. And you're just becoming now aware of that it's lacking, that it's missing. And you're coming to a point where you can no longer pretend, you can no longer dream that this is true, that this is there. It's just not. And you're coming to a point of accepting that. Taurus, many times when we are going through periods of looking at voids in our life, or looking at places where there seems to be things missing, a lot of times that void is making space for the spiritual, making space for source, making space for spirit, making space for God. And I do believe that that is what is happening now in your private life, in your personal life. Why you're focusing on the void, you're focusing on what is missing. You are being guided towards the spiritual. You are being guided towards the unseen. And I do believe that's why we're seeing the hangman here. If we look closer at that hangman, we see that he's enlightened. And he's enlightened because he has chosen to hang himself there. And he's also chosen to hang himself in a yoga pose. And so what I would propose to you at this time is that spirit, source, the universe, God is asking you or guiding you to go within and connect with source, connect with spirit, to fill that void, to find what it is that is missing. And I also believe that you can access that, or you can tap into that with a daily yoga meditation. And so what a daily yoga meditation is you select a pose, you select a yoga pose, and hold that pose for, let's say you hold even a simple mountain pose for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm also going to tell you on the clock, I see 333. And that is telling me, and we see the 3-3. Where do we see the 3? I thought I seen a 3 here. I see the Empress card as the 3. And I see the 3 of Pentacles there. And so I see the number 3. And so do watch for the pop-up. I will make a little pop-up about the angel number 333. But to hold that pose, that yoga pose, for maybe even just 5 minutes. Just take 5 minutes of some part of your day to hold a meditative yoga pose for 5 minutes, to go within, to connect with source, to connect with your inner wisdom, to connect with your intuition. And I think we talked about this in your reading last week. Again, Taurus, do visit your last week's reading. In your last week's reading, I'm fairly certain that we talked about your kinetic and psychic abilities, and how I think that you are becoming aware of those, are gaining access to connecting with those abilities at this time. And I think those abilities that we listed for you were of the physical, where it was the being able to move things with your mind and being able to touch and feel and get energies from different objects. But it did have to do with the physical. And I think, again, going back to the physical, I think that that is why Spirit is asking us to maybe try to incorporate a meditative yoga pose into your day, because again, that yoga pose does involve the physical, and there's something that you enjoy or you connect with, or you really connect and link with the physical. And so I think when I put that pop-up there, I might put a little pop-up about that hangman pose and maybe how to incorporate that in your day. Final thoughts, final messages. Moving on, finding balance to move on. And so when we look closer at this Six of Wands, this is actually the River Styx. And that River Styx really talks about passage. And at this time, Taurus, you are really making that journey, going through that passage. And that, when we think of the passage through River Styx, there's a quietness, a stillness about that passage, a quietness, a stillness about that journey. And if we look closer, we can see, we can almost feel the stillness, the quietness that is going on in the imagery of this card. And I really think that that is what Spirit is speaking to you at this time, is about the quietness, about the stillness. And again, the quietness and the stillness in a daily meditation or a daily meditative yoga pose, and the finding the balance. And if we look at these swords, these 6 swords here, these 6 swords are perfectly and well balanced within their boat. And I really do believe that that is what Spirit's guiding you towards, or leading you towards, or that you're feeling pulled or drawn to. And then we follow up with this Queen of Swords, and this Queen of Swords has cut ties with her past. She has cut ties with things that are no longer serving her. And again, if we look at the sword, we see how the sword is balanced. 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 Cutting ties with the past, going through this quiet transition to find balance, to find peace. And I think especially for the astrological signs of people born under Taurus, or for those of us born under Taurus, that peace of mind is so very important to us. And physical activity can help us retain or find that balance. And I just see you moving into quieter, stiller times by going within and searching for that balance within. It's when we find and create it within that we are able to bring it into the physical. And that is the message that I have for Taurus. Thank you, Taurus. You have a blessed week.